You guys haven't played in a while, so just how hard is it to go 10 days without playing a game, and then you look on the schedule and it's South Carolina, the top team in the conference that you guys have to play against?
Well, I think for us, we're excited to be playing and great week for us to continue to work on us and get better, especially after our loss to Texas A&M. So we've done a lot of scrimmaging to just try to stay in form. And I think, it has hit, some teams to where they've had a long layoff. You don't like it, but, it's not a bad thing if you're getting better and you still have the opportunity to play. So we're just very thankful that we still get an opportunity to play.
And then another one, I know you'll probably get a lot of questions about your connection to Dawn and South Carolina program, but just kind of quickly, what would it mean to beat that program? A program that you spent a decade with, won a national championship with, and all of that. What would it mean to knock them off?
Well, I think, first of all, there's a lot of, Gamecock media on here. They know me. South Carolina is, where I got my start as far as, building a program up into a national powerhouse, sat alongside a dear friend and mine, someone who's a mentor to me and Dawn Staley, as well as the members of that staff. So this has been a rivalry game. I've been a part of a program where South Carolina, where we built it up. And I also was a part of the program when I saw Mississippi State build their program up. So it has definitely become a rivalry game for us. Every game is important, not just the South Carolinas or the Georgias or whatever. Every game is important, as we, play games, but, we want to win every game. So, this is another game on our schedule. Yes, it's a rival game, like, where you have your Ole Miss, but every game you want to win.
Up next, we'll go to Courtney Robb.
Hi, Nikki. Coming off a week and a half of obviously not playing, how do you feel like that has it benefited your team at all to have that time off?
I think it has. I think it has allowed us to watch a lot of film and look at some stuff that we got to continue to get better at across the board. And, so we just want to continue to execute that, every night for 40 minutes, not just one quarter, not just 2 quarters, but for 40 minutes on the floor. So I think it's been good for us. It has allowed us to, get some rest and recovery, but also we're trying to stay in form. We've been, again, like I said, scrimmaging a lot to try to, keep that game mode.
At this point, do you just feel like, though, your players are itching to get back out there, especially after the way that things happened with Texas A&M?
Well, I hope so. I think that, that's with anybody. You want another opportunity to play, to showcase who you are. So, yes, I do think we all are as a staff. I do think our players, are excited to be playing again.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, we'll go to Mitch Brown.
Hey, Coach. How's it going? Good to see you. It's been a while. Hey, obviously, you already talked about the relationship that you've had with South Carolina. But when you look at the SEC as a whole, I talked to Dawn last week, and she talked about being surprised that there are 6 Black women coaches in the SEC. For you in your first season in the SEC, does that represent progress to you? Obviously, there's still work to do, but does that represent a sign of progress, something that you probably didn't see during your time in college basketball?
Oh, definitely. I think it does represent a lot of progress. Hats off to the leadership, in our conference. I think we're a conference that we really set the bar high and set the standards high. So in all of, the other 6 coaches amongst myself, which is 7, we have great relationships and we can call on each other at any point and encourage each other at any point. We know the responsibility that we have, being able to, be, the Black head coach, in the SEC, but we're also very proud and just can't thank, the leadership enough, for just setting the standard in that.
Lastly, I know it's obviously going to be in Starkville this weekend. You haven't been to South Carolina in a while. Probably be back when you guys go to Greenville. But what's it mean to be able to see these people that, you like you said, sat alongside, but also people behind the scenes that have played a big part in your coaching career as well?
It's like family, that's what it is. Very much, I'm a relationship person, and these are lasting relationships with their family. To me, I'm going to be really excited, to see them, and we'll talk after the game, but we're all competitors, and, we want to win, and we want to win the right way. But yeah, I mean, nothing changes that, Dawn, the staff, the people behind the scenes, they will always be family to me.
Up next, we'll go to Howard Megdal.
It's great to chat with you. I appreciate you doing this. I'm glad you included Kyra in the count that we're up to 7 now. The two things I'd love to talk to you about, and first is just as it relates to Aaliyah Boston. And I just, one of the advantages of being off is you've probably had more time to be able to go over film than you typically would when the games are coming a little faster and furious. Her numbers are up across the board. I'm just curious what you're seeing from year 1 to year 2 out of her.
I mean, I think she's in great shape. I think she has a great understanding of the game. I think her basketball IQ has always been there, but now she knows the league. She's faced pretty much everything, double teams, triple teams, and she has it under control. She's not a player that you can rattle. She's going to play at her tempo, her pace, but with her basketball IQ, her ability to move without the ball and just let the game come to her, that makes her just dangerous. She just impacts the game because of her presence on the floor. You have to pay attention to her, but she's just improved, like you said, in all areas. She's in great shape. Her rebounding, her efficiency, she's shooting the ball from the outside. That is definitely added a big dimension, to her game, especially in ball screen coverages and things like that. So, and she's just only going to continue to evolve. So you can't guard her one-on-one. You have to guard her by committee.
Sure. And just bigger picture, I know there's obviously a lot of history with you and Dawn, but beyond that, this battle between Mississippi State and South Carolina has really defined, I feel like, the SEC over the last, you'd almost say, half decade. I remember the reaction in Starkville when you guys won at the hump and beat South Carolina. And I wonder just how much here in 2021 it still feels like, to a large extent, you guys are defining the seasons for one another in those ways.
Well, definitely. I think, there's history there, like you said, I mean, there is history. So, I mean, this is a game where it has turned into a rivalry game. And, both teams have competed, in the championships over the last, 5 years. So there is that history there. So coming out, for us, we want to be able to execute the game plan. Again, every time we step out on the court, we're trying to win games. We're trying to get better. It is about us, with COVID, we are a little bit different in the sense of still learning our systems offensively and our defensive system. So there's newness here across the board. So we're still learning, but definitely have a talented team. But we're, excited to be able to compete and to be able to compete against South Carolina.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Up next, we'll go to Ben Portnoy.
Hey, Nikki, I know we've talked a lot about Jess this year and kind of what she brings to the table, but, in games last year against South Carolina, she really struggled against Aaliyah. I know you can't give away a whole game plan right now, but just in terms of getting her going and getting her in a position to be successful in a game like this, what kind of goes into that, and how do you kind of attack that?
I think what's different this year is that, we get Jess the ball now. We get her the ball. She's not just getting it on dumps. So, for her, it's all about positioning and just understanding when to be dominant as far as not fading away with her shots, but also being very aggressive and power in the post. She can get some runouts early. It's going to be great for us. But she's got to hold it down. I mean, she's got to, be able to defend her without fouling and be physical with her without fouling, all of those things, and vice versa. Boston has to play her. So, I think for Jess, it's just staying in the moment, understanding the game plan, and just not letting anything else affect her, whether she missed a shot or things like that.
And just quickly, I know the last time we talked to you after the A&M game, you talked about how, your team wanted to have a little bit of a powwow and talk things out a little bit. Just how did they respond to that in the days after that game? And I guess, it's a little cliche, but just what has practice looked like the last, week and a half, and how have the girls responded?
Practices have been good. A lot of scrimmaging, just again, still getting better at the stuff that we, are getting better at. But there's been great energy. We talked a lot about our defense, our rebounding, just showing them, what it looks like, and what it should look like for 40 minutes. But practices have been good.
Up next, we'll go to Robbie Falk.
Coach, you're kind of at the midway point, I guess, or getting close to it, to the SEC schedule in your first year. And I know this has just been such a weird year for y'all, just to get on the same page. And, the girls came in late and y'all have had different protocols and all that stuff. But did you have a chance to kind of reflect on where y'all are at this point during this break and kind of know what y'all need to work on during the week and a half or whatever that y'all been able to be in just practice mode the whole time? Were you able to kind of take a step back, I guess, in a sense, and work on some little things a little more than you would in a regular week?
Yeah, definitely. You get back to the fundamentals. I think the basics is where it starts, with us, and just really, making a decision to do those things, and for us, defense and rebounding is really critical for us, because sometimes you're going to have, offensive nights. You are, but defense and rebounding on the defensive end, those two things, offense is efficiency and flow. Just continue to understand our shot selection. Yes, we want to play fast, but also when we've missed a couple of shots, how that really affects us, and it changes the momentum of the game if we're not getting shots, because people are usually getting transition buckets on us, because we're not able to get back in transition quick. So, it's just constantly, making sure that our team understands that. But, you can't win games if you don't guard the ball consistently and if you don't rebound the ball. And we know that South Carolina is number one in the country, I think, in offensive rebound. So we're going to be challenged, and we got to box out.
We'll go back to Ben.
Nikki, just generally on Maya, I know she's been kind of a leader for y'all this year, but when she got here, wasn't necessarily the most vocal person. Just how's she kind of grown into that role, and in games like against A&M where she is kind of a bright spot and a focal point, I guess, just what has she meant to this team generally, and how do you kind of see her fitting into that leadership role?
I think, for Maya has grown. I think she's the only one on this team that has been to a Final Four, and know what that's like. She's been to the NCAA tournament and played in it, little minutes, but she understands that. I mean, she understands the history and the legacy of this program and what was left. And a lot of those players are not here. So now it's kind of like, okay, you got good players, but they don't have the experience of what it's like to battle in those games and battle in tough games. So, but she's been a bright spot just because of her experience. She works hard. She's improved. I think she's confident in who she is, and she's just continued to come into her own. And I think that's a player that I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing how she's going to grow. And I think she's grown a lot this year, as well as some other players.
Let's go back to Tyler.
Nikki, a few of us talked to Dawn way back when you got hired, I guess 9-10 months ago now. And she joked that she wasn't going to be expecting a phone call from you when this game week rolled around. So I'm curious when the last time you spoke to her was, and then just kind of how has your relationship changed with her, or what's it been like since you guys have been coaching against each other in the same conference?
Well, our relationship hasn't changed. I mean, I can call her up at any time. I have not spoken with her, this week, but I mean, she's always sending encouraging words, and as well as her and the staff. I mean, we're constantly checking on each other, and seeing how each other we're doing. We're family, so that's what you do. But we're also competitors, as well. But we will definitely end up talking, after this game is over.
All right, guys, if there's nothing else, I'll do it today. Thank you all for coming out.